Well, yesterday I talked a lot about the beautiful sedum autumn joy, and then that prompted a lot of other questions that I thought I would just respond to kind of quickly today. There's that beautiful sedum autumn joy that I talked about yesterday, and if you haven't seen it, watch that video because I talked about so many reasons I just love it, some of which are flying around now, all those little bees. But then a number of you asked about some plants that were kind of in the background, and the one most frequently asked about is this topiary here. Now this is a Silverado Sage, and you can see it's getting ready to bud out with some kind of light fuchsia blooms, and it's got wonderful blue-gray, kind of velvety foliage. This one, when I bought it, I don't know how many years ago, I overwinter it and bring it in because Silverado Sage, or it's also called Texas Sage, is not reliably hardy. So I do bring it in, but I've got two of them, and they flank either side of this border. But I love them because, for one thing, not necessarily their scent at all, but they've got a color and a texture that reminds me of lavender. And there's a close-up on those little sweet blooms. Now you can see there's a lot of them in bud that are getting ready to come into bloom, and then the buds and the blooms will last, for me, mostly dependent on what the weather conditions are. If it's really hot and windy, obviously they don't last as long, but then they soon will come out with another flush, and I just keep it well clipped. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today is because you can find this at your nurseries now. I was at a couple of independent nurseries last week, and also garden centers at the big box stores, home improvement stores, and I saw it there. And another reason I love it is because it is the perfect color companion to this very common tall phlox that grows behind it, which is also a pollinator. And I really like it for that reason. The other reason I like it is it too is just very, very tough. It is easy to grow. It can handle really brutal south or west sun, and like boxwood, you can tightly clip it. And if you live in an area, probably zone 8, where you can overwinter it, that is a marvelous thing, because I would use it as a boxwood substitute in a heartbeat. I really, really love it. And as I said, I've got two of these in topiary forms, but oh my gosh, you could create a clipped cone or a clipped ball very, very easily. And I love the way its foliage looks with that little Miss Figgy. And also, again, that sedum autumn joy. And as you'll notice, it is also a wonderful textural and color companion to this Arizona Cypress, which was one of the other things you all really asked about. And yes, it is an Arizona Cypress that's been topiaried, and that sedum autumn joy is planted at the base. And some of you asked what that gold spotlight was in the bed, and that is a sunshine ligustrum. Behind it is a burning bush, and then you can see that's just starting to turn is that backdrop of Nandina domestica. So pretty soon, I can't wait for it to come into complete bloom. Though I say that, I enjoy the anticipation before the bloom, in some cases even more than the bloom itself, because all of these mums now are in very tight bud, and pretty soon this whole bed is going to explode in color even more than it is. So I shouldn't wish my life away, should I? You can see the sun is still very, very bright and brilliant, and on an overcast day those colors will really pop. But one of the reasons that I like these hot colors, which I which for me are very much late summer and early fall, is that they can stand up to the bright, intense sun in addition to the heat. So there it is, that Silverado Sage and this statuesque topiaried Arizona Cypress. So hopefully that answers your questions, a number of you asked, and where you can find them.